Hello everyone, Chandler here. Today I'm going to be talking you through the process of me making my own personal private skate park in Google Tilt Brush. Now obviously it's not a full actual skate park that I don't own, but it's the park that I use for fingerboarding and handboarding, and I enjoy it quite a bit. I've had VR for about a week now, and it's super awesome. The day before I even got it in the mail, I bought Google Tilt Brush because it looks so fun, and it was on sale for $10. So I think if you are a VR person, this is definitely worth it if you are a creative type of person. Yeah, so I've been in the app maybe once or twice before this and kind of got to use all the different brushes, and I just learned as I was making this that you could look around and change the size of everything, and that you could select and duplicate things, which I actually learned while I'm doing this. So of course the first thing I tried to make was like a skate ramp, and then I got the idea that it'd be really cool to make my own personal skate park throughout this. So that's what this whole thing was. I think I put a comment on Instagram for you guys to see and let me know if that's something you'd want to see me do, and an overwhelmingly supportive amount of people wanted to see it. I think 2 people didn't and like 20 people did, so that was really cool. But yeah, so I just started with making the ground and the walls and try to get the colors kind of the same, and then made the little outlet box. I started going really in detail, then figured I probably should just get the ramps, is probably more important. So I got those 2 outlet boxes where they needed to be, and then I started working on the quarter pipe, and I sped this part up because it took a long time, and I left all of it in so you can kind of see my whole process. As I was doing this, I didn't really think about all the things that I did later on in this process. The hardest part was the curve of the ramp, to get it to where it started flat, and to get it to where it wasn't super steep and it wasn't super mellow, I guess. So once I got a good decent shape, I moved it around and got it to where the corners fit together, and then I remembered, hey, I can move the pieces around. So I started getting all the pieces to where they fit correctly, and then putting the coping on was really easy. I really like the wire tool or brush. And the hardest part for sure was just filling in all the little gaps here. So I actually went inside the ramp and filled up all the pieces of light, which is the easiest for me to see because I'm using dark colors and everything is kind of, I guess, bland tones. I don't know anything about art or colors. Yeah, so I was just kind of trying to color out and make it all to where it looked like a solid piece. After this whole project is done, I'm kind of realizing now that it would have been beneficial for me to add maybe like black outline around parts to where it looked like they were individual pieces. But I think I wouldn't have been as precise as I should have been with that, so I'm glad I didn't. Yeah, so I finished the quarter pipe there and moved on to my newest ramp addition to my personal skate park, and that is my kicker. And that was super easy to make just because it is a right angle triangle basically. And so same thing as last time, filling it in, but this time I got a little more smart. I used a bigger piece at the start, and then once I got that out how I liked, then I just selected it and copied it and pasted it over to the other side because I already had it fitted like I wanted. So that was a lot better. Then I moved the ramp around to where it needed to be in the park. I, of course, moved my stuff around, but this is kind of the setup I enjoy the most, as I've had my skate park for a while now, for almost a year. Then I moved on to making my rail, and this was a totally different process than making them in real life, because you can just make the pieces just like that, and you can get it to where it fits in exactly, and you don't have to worry about any sort of structural integrity with making stuff like this on the computer. It was really cool to try to replicate the little curves that each part of the rail has. And again, it's really helpful to be able to shrink yourself down or make yourself giant to fill things in or go in and see the very minute details. And I like to be, to spin around because you have a cord connecting your VR headset, so you have to kind of get that all correct. And then as I was making this, I realized it didn't have to be super technically perfect, because the only person that's going to see it is me. I think you can share these online with other people if they have VR as well, but I figure the majority of people don't have VR, and I don't really know anyone else that has it anyways, and I don't know how to share it. but I think it's a possibility because I've seen other people's and it's amazing. Making the legs is really easy, and then you can kind of select and copy and paste like I did before. So once I did that and got it to where I needed to be, I was happy and finished with the rail. I think I did some resizing. Yeah, I select everything right here, and then I do some resizing of the rail, and then it was good to go. I moved around, and then I added one more obstacle. The last obstacle I added was my favorite one that I've ever made, and I really put the least amount of time making this one. And that obstacle is my white ledge. It's just got a part of a sink vanity top as the top of the ledge, and then it's just a 4x4 piece of wood, and I put some foam in certain corners to where it didn't wobble around very much, and it's perfect. It doesn't look good at all, the actual rail itself, but it's just great. It's a low height. It's good for practicing and learning stuff. When I first started handboarding, getting tricks onto that was a challenge, but now that I moved on to bigger and taller objects and obstacles, this ledge feels like home coming back to it and skating it, so it's super fun. And then with this one, I tried to mess around with a little bit, making it look like wood. I went with a big, I think it was just a oil brush or a paintbrush, and it's kind of just sloppy, but it makes it look like it's got a wood texture to it. And I think I probably went overboard in hindsight, but it was cool, and this whole thing has been just a learning process. So a lot of this, you can see I didn't do as much drawing with this ledge as the other ones because I did a lot of copy and pasting, which probably is the best. And then the park is finished, so I finished it off with a little signature there. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. I'm thinking it'd be really cool to try to remake a bunch of different skate parks, and I think you guys would like that. So if that's something you want to see me do, I can definitely try to do that. It may not be as perfect as the actual park, but it'll be fun anyways. So here's a quick little overview of the whole thing being made. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching, and God bless.